What does the T stand for?
Terrence.
Terrence.
Terrence, oh yeah.
Is that your dad's name or grandfather's?
So it was my mother, her sister's name was Teresa,
Okay.
and her husband's name was John. So put John Terrence. And then my cousin on my mother's side, her name was Barbara, after my mother, and Joe, Barbie Joe, named after my father Joe.
Wow.
So I guess there was some sort of method to their madness.
Irish?
Oh yeah.
All the way.
All the way. I'll drink to that. Haven't had drop alcohol 12 years.
Which would be 2014.
14. When Gina got the nomination for governor, when she won the primary, there I am.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I had, that night with the election, we didn't know if she was going to win or whatever.
Yeah.
So I went to the Parkside.
Good restaurant?
Oh, yeah. And had my usual Grey Goose martini and maybe another one, maybe a glass of Pinot Noir. Then go to this event, and I'm drinking, Grey Goose and cranberry. And they said, we need people to go up on stage when Gina comes out. So, of course, I'm cocked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, me, free publicity. I'm standing behind her, cocked. My phone's blowing up. All my drunk friends are like, John, you're cocked, blah, 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 blah. And then, Greg, the next day and stuff like that, I said, I just didn't, I go, no. And the thing is, your luck's going to run out. Doesn't matter who you know. So and then Irish went off to look too far in the family tree.
True.
So I just quietly did it. I didn't tell anybody. Didn't go to AA.
Wow.
I have a friend of mine who's a young kind of protege type guy, one of them, and he invented an app for finance. He worked on Wall Street the whole bit. And he fell off the wagon a couple days ago, and then we met yesterday at 5 o'clock at the office I'm buying, and he called and told me that he fell off the wagon, and he lives in Boston. When he came down, he went to the liquor store in Boston, bought a bottle of tequila, put it in his knapsack, been at his sister's playing with his niece, and when I saw him last night, he was cocked. So I'm trying to help him get back on the wagon and stuff. But he went to AA, and he's a good-looking guy. So then, here again, they want him to be the spokesman and stuff like that. And then he said, I'm sick of people or them telling me what to do. That was his big thing. And why can't I have a drink like every other normal person? And I said, why do you, it's not normal. Like, why do you think, you think everyone drinks because that's the crowd you run with.
Right.
And when you run with a different crowd, and then you're like, oh, you know what? Right?
There's another normal out there.
Exactly. That's exactly it. So
I heard an interesting expression the other day. I went on a date, and the girl was recovering from cocaine.
Oh, my God.
So she was 2 years sober.
Okay.
And she's very, business, health, yoga, family. Like, she's all in on the good stuff.
Okay.
So we went out to Boston.
Where'd you go?
We went to the Oyster House. It's the oldest restaurant in the country.
In Faneuil Hall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, right there. And then the oldest bar in the country is right next door.
Right, of course. Cheers. Oh, no.
It's called two or one in the, it's like a phrase.
Right.
I forget what it's called. But anyways, we're there, and I got a drink, and I said, you don't mind, right, that it's not
Oh, well, that's the other thing, a trigger.
Yeah, it's just gonna, and she goes, no, you can have a drink, it's fine. I don't deserve it, Greg. She said, I don't deserve a drink based on my prior behavior. So interesting expression. I don't deserve it.
But,
or I can't handle it, maybe she meant. I don't know.
Well, see, yeah, the deserve part kind of, in my mind, would say you're not worthy, right? Deserve.
Right.
So I'm not worthy to have a drink, which I find a little, an interesting analogy. I think it's a lot with perhaps insecure women.
Maybe. Which there's a lot of.
Oh my God.
I see them a lot.
Oh my God.
And I think the phone has made them more insecure.
Oh, of course, because they're looking at what Kim Kardashian or whoever looks like.
And how many likes did I get?
Oh, that's exactly at the gym.
How many, we go to the same gym, right? So
absolutely.
You see what I see.
Absolutely.
And I call the Edge the talent show.
Right.
Because they walk in and it's matching and you read the lips and you can see and the matching socks and the hair's makeup. Who wears makeup to the gym?
But who wears makeup to the beach, right? Right?
Exactly.
It's true.
So it's an attention-seeking culture we live in, and not many people are actually fulfilled in themselves.
Oh, of course. Something's lacking.
Somebody gets in an accident in Warwick.
Yeah.
They post, or somebody posts and says, I need a Warwick attorney. Mm-hmm. And 20 people say, JTC.
Correct.
And then you reach out to that poster?
So they usually Google me, get my phone number, call me, email me, tell me I got in an accident. So I ask everybody the same thing. Tell me how it happened. Did the police come? The police should always come. They should always file a report. I got rear-ended. Well, that means different things to different people. The way you would think it wouldn't, but it does. So when I think of I got rear-ended, that means I'm in a car, stopped at a light, and there is a car behind me that didn't stop and hit me in the rear end. Okay. Now, if I pull out of my office parking lot here onto Warwick Ave and I stop short suddenly and I get hit in the rear end, that is not what I consider a rear end accident. Right. Because what is the proximate cause? You pulling from a position of safety in a parking lot onto a main road. The burden is on me to get on the main road without any cars coming to hit me. If you drive down the road and you are going to make a left-hand turn, you stop, put your directional on. If there is two lanes in the opposite direction and the lane closest to the center waves you on, and this is not a good thing to do at all, and you start going, and then the car in the inside lane, of course, doesn't see you and has the right of way, and then you get hit and you say, I got broadsided. No. You made a left-hand turn in our Rhode Island motor vehicle laws, 3117-4, says vehicle turning left must do so when it's free and clear. The person on the main road has the right of way.
To continue traveling.
Yes, and those are the rules of the road. That's how insurance companies look at everything. So if you say, I got rear-ended, it's not true. You know what I mean? Yeah, you might have gotten hit in the rear end of your car or whatever, and then when you make that turn, some say, I got hit in the front or I got hit in the rear, which means you're almost all the way into the side street or whatever. But here again, I don't take these cases. I only take 100% clear liability cases.
Gotcha.
Because if you're going to be found 50% at fault or something like that, in Rhode Island we have comparative negligence, which means you can be found 1% at fault, 99% at fault, or whatever. Well, think about it. I want the 100% not at fault cases, because otherwise, why am I working for 50 cents on the dollar?
Right, or 1%.
Oh, yeah, any of that. I'm not doing it. A passenger in a car can go after anybody, the driver of either car, because there's no liability on the passenger. They weren't grabbing the steering wheel. Massachusetts, you have contributory negligence, which means in Massachusetts, if you are 51% or more at fault, you get nothing. So if you're making that left turn, you're definitely out of luck in Massachusetts, because that's contributory negligence. Rhode Island has comparative negligence. The venue, Rhode Island, It's for a personal injury lawyer, it's a wonderful venue because in Rhode Island, we have interest on your claim from the date of accident.
Wow.
So you have 3 years from the date of accident to file a lawsuit. Since I've been on the other side for 12 years, I settle 99.9% of my cases. I have litigators to litigate big cases for me if needed. You know, I just stick with my personal injury and my car accidents. If it's a medical malpractice, I have an attorney for that. Those are very long, convoluted cases in which you must have a serious, permanent injury for medical malpractice. If you're allergic to aspirin, you go in the hospital, they give you aspirin, you throw up for 2 days, and then you're fine. Well, yeah, you might have had a bracelet on saying that you're allergic to aspirin and they ignored it or didn't see it. And yeah, okay, so maybe they did commit malpractice, but what are your damages? Your damages are limited to 2 days of throwing up. In a medical malpractice case, you have to get a doctor, an expert from out of state to say that your doctor or the hospital deviated from the standard of care. When you deviate from the standard of care, which every other doctor would have done, then you have liability or negligence. And here again, in order to prosecute these claims and to go forward with them, it takes a lot of money, a lot of time. There are lawyers that could be into a claim for $100,000 of their own money. And then they could go to court, try the case, and lose. So you're out $100,000. So with these top tier medical malpractice cases, they want 7- and 8-figure cases. The baby that was born without the oxygen and the forceps did something, or brain dead or whatever. Whenever negligence giving birth in a baby alive, but with residual problems, permanent injuries. Because if someone dies, insurance companies, everyone has a chart with the value of it. So who would be a valuable person to die? Well, nowadays it would be the wage earner in the family, whether it's mom or dad. And let's say it's dad and he works for an investment company and he makes $300,000 a year, and the wife stays home and they have 2 kids. So if dad dies in a car accident, that's really valuable because of the various factors. He's not there. Who's going to support him? Who's going to support the wife and the family? On the other hand, let's say if mom passes away, well, she doesn't have any earnings. She's a homemaker. And it's traumatic for the kids and everything else, but we're not going to be able to put on the scoreboard, if you will, her wages and things like that. Just like claims with older people. If you have a permanent injury, let's say you're 60 years old, you have a permanent injury to your neck, and your neck can't go like this and get complete range of motion. Then your orthopedic surgeon, 1 year after accident, will examine you to give you an impairment rating. That you can only move your neck this much and that much, and it's all a big medical equation. Then they take that permanency rating and they equate that to the whole person. So let's say your neck, you don't have full range of motion, goes down to your arm. Well, you can only lift your arm this high. It's a whole mathematical equation. Then you take that, Greg, and you look at their life expectancy. So if they were 60 years old, let's say they had another 25 years to live. And here again, gender, ethnicity, things like that. So then they take that permanency with the life expectancy and they multiply them. So you get a permanency rating of what it might cost in the future, that next 25 years of pain and suffering and things like that. And then that is reduced to present value, what it's worth today, not 25 years from now. So when people, I've got to live with this forever. Well, if that's true, 1 year after the accident, the Orthopedic surgeon generally will give you a permanency rating. Chiropractors have a function. They're not medical doctors, number one. My clients use them, and I let the clients know that after 3 to 4 months with the chiropractor, you should be all better if it's a typical soft tissue case. If it is not a normal soft tissue case, we have radiculopathy going down your fingers or your legs, and you're dropping things that could indicate a disc in your neck, C3, C4, C5, that's herniated, that causes you not to have a grip or whatever, and that requires surgery. And just like we don't know if it's the neck or the shoulder or, what the problem is. And then same thing, if your leg goes numb, if you're moving your leg and it goes numb, then that could be a lumbar, the back disc, L4, L5, L5, L6. And here again, these are conditions only treated by a orthopedic surgeon or a neurosurgeon. A chiropractor cannot do an invasive procedure. And what I mean by that is a chiropractor cannot even take your temperature. They cannot put a thermometer in your mouth. So those are some of the distinctions.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. And the insurance companies will find doctors to rebut all of this.
Yeah, sure.
They send them all the records and they say, Dr. Jones thinks this person has a 10% whole person. Review the records. They say, oh, no, not 10%, maybe 2%.
It's a negotiation.
Negotiation. And as we know, that doctor for the insurance company couldn't identify my client in a police lineup. Never met him. Just reading paper. And of course, the doctor for the insurance company is going to obviously tend to lean towards the insurance company, because certainly if that doctor says, oh, yeah, they're permanently disabled, I agree with everything, well, that's hurting the insurance company. And number two, the insurance company say, well, oh, my God, if this guy's on the plaintiff side now, always helping out opposition, we can't use him anymore.
Right.
Because he's singing the wrong song for us. Right. We put the money in the jukebox. We want the doctor to say, oh, that person's fit as a fiddle. Oh, yeah.
You're for your client, obviously they're for their client. Who's the middle?
So, yeah, a lot of times...
Or where is the middle?
Right. A lot of times today, if the insurance company and I cannot agree on a claim, we will go to arbitration or mediation. And in Rhode Island, we have a few mediators, men and women attorneys that are well respected, that have mediation companies and try to get the two sides together.
So there's a company for...
Oh, absolutely.
That gets engaged.
Absolutely. One of the famous or well-known mediators is a guy by the name of Bill Poor. And Bill was in charge after the Station nightclub fire and figuring out how much money the children who were injured or families and things like that, how much they received. And when we mediate something, it's not a question of they're at 10,000, we're at 70,000, and so you split the difference. They don't do that. They're not going to just keep splitting the difference or anything like that. Insurance companies, the adjuster has a range of where he is to go to at the mediation or the arbitration. And if we're close, but they don't have the authority, they can get it, but it's usually with the understanding that if the insurance adjuster gets you that extra 10,000, that's going to settle the case. That we're negotiating, and if we're at the top of the mountain, and then, if we're close, then they will try to get the money and get it resolved, because in Rhode Island, like I said, it's 1% prejudgment interest. So by the time you file a lawsuit, if you were smart, you'd have 36% interest, and then let's say it takes 4 years to go to court, that's another 48%.
1 month per percent, you're talking?
Yeah, from date of loss, which is unheard of. Where could you get 12% return on your money only in Rhode Island?
Not rental property.
Right, nowhere, right.
Wow.
So that's why insurance companies look at the interest factor.
So you take on strictly home run cases as
Yes.
far as for your preference. You're not interested in getting a little bit of this, a little bit of that,
No.
or fighting for no pay, maybe.
No, true. I am
So
very...
you only want...
Yeah, because given the fact that I was a claims adjuster for the Amica Insurance Company for 12 years,
Gotcha.
I handled roughly 5,000 claims.
Wow.
Okay? Seen them all, brought by any and all attorney.
Wow.
And it doesn't make sense for me to take a loser case or a 50-50 case because Rhode Island being Rhode Island, if I don't get you the money and you're at the Twin Oaks restaurant or wherever you are,
Motherfucker.
right, you
So
do
you
not.
only want to be in good graces, and you do that by winning.
Always. Or
Only
telling
winning.
the people no.
Or, yeah, getting them out.
Most people don't like to be told no, and most lawyers will take anything thinking that, well, this isn't a good case,
Yeah,
but when
but-
grandma gets in the accident, in a coma, they're going to call me. Well, given the fact that you didn't get them any money and things like that, and like my commercial says, you call me, you get me. I have a live answering service, and no matter where I am in the country, I'm always very accessible. And if you called me at noontime on a Saturday and just got in an accident, the answering service will call me, tell me, patch you right through. I talk to you right there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's not common for this industry.
No. And I also, the clients have my cell phone. And here again, usually, at the beginning of the claim, I understand it's traumatic, and I've been doing this for 40 years, so I can do it with my eyes closed. But to reassure people, I have a claim that just happened at a hospital near Brown University right when the shooting was, and it's going to be a big claim. And the hospital was so affected by the shooting that they forgot that my client had this episode. So I brought it to their attention, and of course, like I said, they were too focused, obviously,
Yeah.
on the Brown shooting as opposed to what happened to my client. But what happened to her is substantial, and we'll be able to connect the dots.
So how many cases do you have currently? In the works? I'm sure
Yeah.
they take years, right?
No. When you're done with the doctors and you reach the medical endpoint, I settle your claim. It doesn't take years.
Oh, it's quick.
It's very quick because I know the value of the claim.
Gotcha.
So if the claim is worth between 10 and 15,000, they're not going to pay 20,000. And you have to know that when they offer you 6,000, you have to get them as close to 15 as possible. And then when you reach the top of the mountain, and that's it. And when you go to court, people will say, "Oh, I want to go to court." Well, guess what? A jury is made up of retired school teachers, unemployed people, people that have no concept of how this works. So in Providence County, a jury may think 100,000 is a lot of money. Where in Newport County, 100,000 may not be a lot of money to these people. And when you're in upper income areas, $1 million means something completely different than someone living in an impoverished area.
Who's unemployed?
Yeah. So
Interesting.
you have to, when you try the case, you have to look at the jury pool and say, well, will this group of jurors be able to deliver a verdict of $1 million? Are they capable of that?
Or is this $500,000 that the insurance company's offering me worth the take?
Right. It's all about balancing the risk. It's
Gotcha.
all about, as I say with jurors, it's the next 6 people that walked out of CVS.
Right.
It's a complete crapshoot. The insurance company always settles cases where they know they have exposure.
Gotcha.
The good cases always settle. The lousy cases go to court and the insurance company wins, because if you get rear-ended in the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru and there's not a scratch on your body, and you go to the chiropractor for 6 months, and you'll get nothing. In Massachusetts, in Plymouth County, Fall River, the last 35 jury trials with rear-enders, where somebody rear-ended somebody else, the jury in these 35 cases found the defendant not liable, even though they rear-ended somebody, that the jurors said, oh, that person, yeah, they got rear-ended, but there's no way they could be injured with this minor impact. They will take a picture, the insurance company will take a picture of your bumper, blow it up, put it on a big TV screen, and say, and they will have an engineer come in and say, you're exerting more energy getting out of this chair, putting your foot on the ground, than you would have felt if you got rear-ended.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
So they know how to. I know a lot of these cases are probably similar, so they have a playbook.
Absolutely.
This is a head-on. Oh, this is a T-bone. Oh, this is.
My friend, one of my dear friends, one of my litigators, defends RIPTA, our bus company.
What's his name?
Her name is Kathy Wiley, and she defends RIPTA. She's been doing it since she moved back to this practice, let's say for 3 years. Let's say she's tried 15 cases. She's won all 15.
Wow.
Yep. Whether you're on the bus or near the bus. And here again, people think that if you get hit by an Amazon truck, you're going to get more money. No. The value of the claim is the value of the claim, no matter how much coverage there is. Amazon is not going to pay more because, number one, Amazon knows they are a target. Just like if you slip and fall at Walmart, I don't take those cases either.
Oh.
Because slip and falls, you should watch where you're walking. And
Say that again?
You should watch where you're walking. You've got two eyes, and the insurance company in a slip and fall will always find the plaintiff 50% or more at fault. So here again, why would I take a case where I'm only going to work for half my pay? Now we have snow and ice cases. In Rhode Island, the law is clear. A landowner, as you know, has a duty to clear the snow and ice after a reasonable period of time after the snow stopped. If I went on your property in the middle of a snowstorm, fell down, broke my legs, there's no liability on the part of you because it was in the middle of a storm. The law is such that allows the landowner a reasonable period of time. Now here again, what's a reasonable period of time? Well, if the snow stopped at 8 o'clock in the morning, one would think by
the
afternoon should be cleared up. And of course, the way we get snow here and how it's here today, gone tomorrow. But here again, these cases, a slip and fall, snow case, here again, the insurance company is going to look at the meteorology records. They're going to know, oh, this happened in Cranston at 2 o'clock. Well, according to the National Weather Service, the snow stopped.
Yeah.
Or, of course, as we know, with everything, there are cameras everywhere. Whether it's for car accidents, dash cams, things like that. The other thing is, if you are hit by a drunk driver. So let's say the Allstate driver was drunk. Okay, that's awful, that shouldn't be, but it happened. Allstate is going to pay your claim. They're not going to pay you more money because their insured was drunk. You can't penalize the insurance company for the insured's behavior. You can't. And when I represented many people affected by drunk drivers, horrible injuries. Usually they have no insurance coverage or $25,000 in coverage or things like that. And here again, the insurance company can't be held liable or punished for the insured's bad actions. They either pay a claim or they don't pay your claim. And when you settle a claim, you're going to sign a release form that says the party's over. And so it says, in consideration of the sum of X amount of dollars, we give you this money. We do not admit liability. We don't do anything. We deny everything, but here's $10,000. You'll never get a release to say, oh, yeah, we made a mistake. Here's $10,000, just like as you see nowadays with non-disclosure agreements. Everything I do is attorney-client privilege. So if your daughter's 20 years old and she got in a car accident and mommy and daddy are saying to me, how much did my daughter get? I have to tell them, your daughter's 20 years old, she's over 18. I can't tell you. I get this a lot with passengers. One passenger gets X, another one gets Y. Every claim is different. No two claims are the same.
I'm going to reset, and I want you to tell us about your largest, biggest production of a claim that you ever had to do. So tell us about your biggest claim,
Biggest settlement.
biggest, what happened.
Okay. So in a lawyer's career, you're going to have a lot of little cases, and once in a while you're going to get a big fish. Law of large numbers. 6 years ago, I was contacted by a family. Their son was working on a job site at a very well-known property in the New England area, and he was performing his job, and the scaffolding collapsed, and my client then fell 30 feet into the air and landed on his head, was in a coma for 3 weeks, and then he's very young, around 20 years old, and he was left with permanent brain damage. Now, when you talk about that, or how do we assess permanent brain damage? Well, the insurance company will have you examined by a psychiatrist, a neuropsychologist, and they will see if the client is actually suffered brain damage or just making all this up. So the way they do this is the doctor for the insurance company, the neuropsychologist, will interview the client at 2 different occasions so that you're not, if you're pretending the first time, chances are you can't pretend again the second time. So they want to make sure that when they examine you and you take the test the first time and fail it, that when you take the test again the second time and fail it again, that there is a reason for this. And the claims that have the most significant value are the claims in which a person is left with a permanent brain injury, right? That their brain has reached a medical endpoint and they will not be able to get any better. Now, the problem with that could be that the person that has the brain injury, like a lot of men and women, they think they're fine. Oh, I'm fine. Nothing wrong with me. But then you talk to a family member who said, oh yeah, he was making spaghetti last night and he left the stove on. He went out to go to CVS. He didn't come home because he got lost. When you have a young person with a permanent injury like that, that claim has the most value because they're young, especially if they have a good job and they can't do that good job anymore, then they have to live with this the rest of their lives. And it's all about insurance coverage. Now, you could be hit in that same situation by a drunk driver, have a traumatic brain injury, and the drunk driver could have no insurance. Then you have to go on your own underinsured motorist coverage. So that's why you should always have a lot of that. But here again, a lot of people, when they buy insurance, say, I want the cheapest insurance possible. And then when a tragedy like this strikes, they're out of luck. They're out of luck. You have to have a lot of insurance. I have a condo in Fort Lauderdale. I like to go walking in the morning. I walk 3 miles. And I'm on A1A, the main drag. There are crosswalks. You push the button so that the light stops, you cross the street. Well, as you know, in Florida with old people, they don't pay attention, whether you're in the crosswalk or not. So what I decided to do, my own auto insurance, I have $500,000 liability policy, but I also have a $5 million umbrella and also an uninsured motorist. So if I was walking down the street in the crosswalk in Florida, got ran over, have a traumatic brain injury, I know that my policy can pay me up to $5.5 million. And I believe that you really can't have enough insurance no matter what. And believe it or not, an umbrella policy is not that expensive. My $5 million umbrella with the uninsured motorist is only $1,300 a year. So you get a real bang for your buck. $5 million in coverage. And that umbrella policy is worldwide no matter what I do. So I have a new case now where two gentlemen, younger guys, were out celebrating a birthday. They went to someone's house afterwards, and they were going down the stairs. The first guy is the client. The second guy is behind him. He trips, falls on top of the guy in front of him, takes him down the stairs, and shatters his tibia and fibia in 10 million places. And this is a young guy who works in the service industry, has no health insurance, things like that. I said to some of his coworkers, I can help him. You say, well, John, how could you help him? Well, if the person that fell on top of him lives in a house with homeowners insurance, lives with his parents, has, even apartment insurance that has liability coverage, this liability coverage will kick in because it was an accident. It was not an intentional act. Like I said, I've got a $5 million policy, but if I punch you in the face right now, you're not going to be able to get the $5 million because what I did was an intentional act. The insurance company pays for negligence and stupidity, not intentional acts.
Gotcha.
So with the big claims, they're few and far between, but they're actually a lot easier to settle because the injuries are so catastrophic.
Gotcha.
I had one lady broke every bone in her body, and luckily there was a lot of coverage. But then again, when I say a lot of coverage, they would, in this particular case, was $1.25 million. But to that woman that has every broken bone in her body, that's still not enough. Right. So it's all about your own policy and making sure you have enough coverage because you cannot rely on the FedEx truck hitting you. A lot of people in Rhode Island buy a car, they get the insurance with Progressive, they make the payment, first payment, maybe they make the second payment, then it lapses. So they have no insurance. Very common. It's also common in areas that are socially deprived, if you will.
Yeah, makes sense.
So you don't want to go to those areas and get in accidents.
Keep that in mind. I'm getting in accidents on Bellevue Ave only.
Correct. Blackstone Boulevard. Division Road in East Greenwich.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's like anything. A lot of times accidents in these unfortunate areas, no one has any insurance.
Yeah.
So it's a question of me spending, 3 months trying to chase something that's not there. So I tend to shy away from those. And my rule is when you get in the accident, I want to read the police report.
Gotcha.
Because that's when people are the most honest. They haven't talked to anybody. They just say what happened.
Reactionary.
And a passenger is not an independent witness. Mm-hmm. Oh, my passenger, of course, said that the other person went through the red light.
Right.
No.
So how do people get in touch with you?
Very simple. You go on my website, johntcarroll.com, 401-461-9977. Google me. I've made videos like this that are on YouTube.
Awesome.
And asking and answering a million questions. I advertise on all the local stations. I will be advertising during the pregame of the Super Bowl. I have billboards. Rhode Island being Rhode Island, I know a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's best to reach out, email, go on the website, whatever it is, and I get back to you.
And final thoughts, just like Jerry Springer, what would it be?
My final thought would be insurance companies do not give away money. And if you think you know the definition of subrogation, then you don't have to call me. But if you know what the definition of subrogation, if you have no idea what I'm talking about with subrogation and how Medicare and Blue Cross always has a lien on paying your medical bills, that the health insurance company, when they find out that you got in an accident, it's not your fault, and we had to pay all this money, your health insurance policy has a right of subrogation, which means they have the right to go after the person that is responsible for your injuries. And same with Medicare. Medicare pays out money that they shouldn't have to. They have a lifetime super priority lien, which means if you don't pay Medicare back from your settlement, they will take money out of your Social Security check. And my final thought would be, many people try to do it alone, and then they call me when it's all messed up. I like to just start in the first inning. It's a journey, it's a baseball game, and we'll get there.
Right on. Nice to meet you again.
Absolutely a pleasure.
And if you have any questions for me, I don't know why you would, but put them in the comments field below, and we'll get right back to you. Once again, Greg Rice and John Terrence Carroll.
Correct,
2
Greg.
R's, 2 L's.
Right.
Here at JTC Law in Warwick, Rhode Island.